India, we have Mr. Raghupati. He's Executive Director, Green Business Center, Confederation of Indian Industry. Mr. Raghupati is an expert in energy management in the industrial and building sector. Presently, he is a leader of a team of experts to facilitate green building movement, national energy efficiency movement, Green Go rating, and water management practices at national level. Please welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to present to you about the green building movement and the new ventures related activities and clean tech activities in India. Next, okay. See, if you really see India, 80% of India is yet to be built. By 2030, we are expecting about 4 to 5 times the growth in infrastructure. In other words, what you say is 80% of India is yet to be built. It's a great opportunity for all of us in India to build India as a green country. That's a great opportunity we have. That's why we are going around the globe, requesting and seeking out best technologies, how we can incorporate the best technologies so we can be one of the potential leaders in the green tech. Friends, I'm here to share what are the opportunities we have in India and what's India's experience in the journey of clean tech. This is a building which you see is a building of CII Green Business Center. CII is one of the largest industry association in India. The Green Business Center is part of CII. I'm involved with the Green Business Center, and the Green Business Center is almost 10 years old right now. The building you see is a building of the Green Business Center located at Hyderabad. It was the greenest building in the world in the year 2003 under the LEED rating system of US Green Building Council. It maintained the world record for 2 years, and based on these buildings now, there are about 1,700 buildings coming up. So I'm here initially to show you the trends in the green buildings in India, what's happening in the green building movement. First, the awareness on green buildings is on the rise, and the reason is it makes strong business sense to go for green buildings. What started as one building in the year 2003, today we have about 1,745 registered green buildings. And by the time I reached Stockholm, another 10 more buildings got added. So it's about 1,760 right now. And 1,745 projects, it's not an individual building, it's a project by itself. And each project we are talking about 1 million square feet. It's a very large size of project. It's not an individual small building. It's a very large projects. 1,745 projects amounting to a level of about 1.2 billion square feet, which we understand is one of the largest, top 5 countries in the world in terms of green building footprint. So India stands within the top 5 in terms of the green building footprint. And if you see the phenomenal growth, the massive growth happened, and we started the movement in 2003. From 2008 onwards, it's having a massive growth, and we are almost doing about nearly 600 to 700 buildings, about 500 to 600 buildings per year. And that's a trend that's happening. And you name any type of building, all type of buildings are going green. It can be green schools, it can be a hospital, it can be an airport, it can be a commercial building. You name it, there's an example of a green building in that. The reason why several buildings are coming up is the green buildings makes tremendous business sense. Every building saves about 30 to 50% on energy, about 30 to 70% on water. So the initial investment, which is in the order of about 3 to 5% for a platinum-rated building, it's paid back within about 2 years to 3 years' time. So green buildings makes tremendous sense. That's a reason. It's a strong business case for that. And every building, it's a major drive for the owner of the building or a developer of a building to construct it as green. You see the type of market transformation the products happen on the green building side. This was one product which was not there in India in 2003. It's a waterless urinal, which saves completely on the water side. Was introduced in India in 2003 from some of the companies from Canada. It at about 16,000 Indian rupees is equal to something like about anything you can divide by 5 is you get the kronas. So you take about nearly 3,000 kronas was the amount which paid for the waterless urinal. Today, because of the huge amount of volume, the price has come down to about 1,000 kronas. So a huge amount of volumes, and you have huge amount of savings, and the company actually makes huge amount of money in terms of the volume sales in terms of millions. So this is the potential you have when you really go scale and when you really try to adopt and you go along with the wave of the green building movement. These were the technologies which were not there about in the year 2000 to 2003. Today, you name many of the green building technologies. There are many companies coming into India and making the investments. And we strongly believe the investment potential by 2015, taking at the rate of about 1,000 green buildings per year, we are talking about an investment potential of $100 billion per year. That's the type of investment opportunities we have in the green building sector. Now, friends, let me talk about the green township. It's not only individual projects, the entire town of, say, 100 acres, 500 acres, 1,000 acres of land can be green. And a lot of innovative small concepts and which makes a huge difference are happening in India. For example, if you see any city, you have office and commercial buildings in one place, your residential buildings further away, something like 5 kilometers away, 10 kilometers away. People had to transport, people had to commute, they had to look for public transport or they will have the cars. Whereas the trend in India right now, you have commercial buildings, recreational areas and residential areas all adjacent to each other. So people walk to work. So the public transportation requirement is very minimal. The car transportation is minimal. And you walk to work. And it's a huge saving of time, huge improvement in the quality of life, and you save energy, and you save costs, and you make more profit. So that's the type of things that are happening. And another very interesting case is the commercial buildings have huge amount of wastewater. And it's very difficult to, there's a stigma attached to using the recycled water. So what we do is we recycle this water, treat the water to tertiary standards, and use it in the commercial buildings for cooling towers. And so there is a synergy. What's the waste in one place becomes a very useful material in another place. So in other words, these are the type of concepts that are happening in green townships. Almost every new township which is coming in India is following this concept. Now, another very interesting thing is, we are now talking about buildings. Now, we are now shift over to companies, manufacturing companies. We have developed what is the rating system called the Green Company Rating System, which we believe it's a first of its kind in the world. We assess the company to what extent it is green and certify the company it's green. And as on today, about nearly 15 companies are aggressively working in the pilot stage. And by end of next year, we'll be having about 50 manufacturing companies certified green in this process. If you see the whole trend, it captures the entire green aspects of a company. It measures the toxicity level in the product. And the idea is to reduce the toxicity level in the product at the time of manufacturing, at the time of sourcing, etc. We are talking about the entire greening the supply chain. We are trying to reduce the material intensity of the product. So in other words, it encompasses the energy efficiency, water conservation, waste management. Every item is covered in the rating system. So this is the first of its kind in the world, which has been launched successfully, and many Indian companies are working to that. And we look forward to international cooperation where this can be taken up further. Now let's focus on the clean energy. I'm talking about the green power and renewable energy. India is one of the top leaders, the top 10 companies in the world in terms of investments in renewable energy. And one of the most interesting things is the bulk of the investments in renewable energy have come from private sector, almost about 85. In fact, some cases in terms of wind, it's almost 90% to 95%. So bulk of the investments have come from the private sector. And private sector have led the way in terms of investments in renewable energy. So there's a great opportunity. You name any sectors, wind, solar, biomass, everything, the potential is very huge in India. And in fact, in the case of wind sector, it has started commercially competing with the conventional power in some aspects. So the potential is very large in wind sector. Another very interesting project which we have in India. See, right now is what is called green power to telecom towers. We have almost about 250,000 telecom towers located in the interior parts of the country which do not have access to conventional power. So they use renewable energy as a source of generation. And the other alternative is they use diesel, which is about almost, say, €1 per unit. That's the amount of energy that is lost in terms of transportation, the performance of the systems, etc. So what we do is we have a renewable energy, which is either can be solar photovoltaic or a small size wind turbine, or it can be a biomass power generation plant, which supports 30% of the energy to the the mobile towers, and the balance 70% goes for the village electrification. It improves these villages do not have access to conventional power, so they do not have electricity. So the economic value addition is there. The people have got access to energy, and then the quality of life is improved, and the economic activity also improves. So in other words, we get two advantages. The towers, mobile towers get energized, and the villages gets electricity. So these are the type of projects which are happening in India, and the potential for this investment is in the region of about 4,500 megawatt. This is the amount of energy saving, energy generation potential we have. Now we're talking of green entrepreneurship. What we see is today is similar to what we have in India. It's a New Ventures India, which is the joint initiative of CII and World Resource Institute. And so far, we have supported about 15 green small companies, SMEs, small manufacturing engineering companies, and which the tune of about nearly 24 million US dollars have been supported in this direction. So we arrange venture capital fund, we arrange bank loans from the banks also. And any company interested will look for in this direction also. Water management is another very important area, and now industries are gearing up for water management, and we believe the potential for saving in water is about 30 to 40% industry. And if you have any water saving product, India is the best place to sell. Earlier I showed an example of waterless urinal, so several potential possibilities are there. We believe the investment in Indian water sector in terms of gadgets, in terms of projects, in terms of services can be to the tune of about 40 billion US dollars. That's the amount of investment potential that is there on the water side. The awareness on green products, energy efficient products is on the rise. We see that star rating, almost every purchaser is now only focusing on 4-star rated and 5-star rated products. And by definition, a 4-star rated product has got about 20 to 30% energy savings built into the design of the and operation of the product. So that's the type of trends that are happening. And even every product is getting branded as green. A paint is branded green, and people are willing to pay something like 10 to 20% more price for a green item or a green paint. Green jobs are also on the verge, and for example, the renewable energy field, which we have made a very detailed estimate, the immense amount of job potential is there in the green jobs, and the job potential is about 1.4 million jobs by year 2020. That's the amount of potential we have. You name any services in terms of green technologies, the potential is very large. For example, energy efficiency technologies for industries, life cycle assessment for products, green logistics in terms of the logistics sector. Altogether, we believe the potential is of the investments in this category, and making changes in this category is about 20 billion US dollars. Friends, this is a very important slide which I would like to spend half a minute. If you're a company having a green product or a green technology or a green service, and you're looking India as a potential destination, I think this is a route we would like you to take. On the x-axis, we have a technology, a graph, and y-axis, we have volume. That means when the technology is very high, you are on the other end of the spectrum. When the volumes can be very high in India, then you are on the other end of the spectrum. Ideal product or ideal technology is one where volumes and technology are very high. That is, technology is very superior, very unique, and volumes in India can be very high. If that is the technology or product you have, you are an ideal product for India. And in such a case, our request to you is, you please explore the market, and within 2 or 3 years of time, you should have a very, very strong marketing base in India, and you can do very well in India. And with India, you can even explore other countries. India as a base, you can explore other countries. That's the amount of potential we have. On the other extreme, if you have the situation where the technology levels are low, volumes are also low, this is not a good product for India. In that case, if there is any demand, yes, you can create awareness and be done with it. But this may not be an ideal situation for India. On the other hand, if you have a technology situation is very high, you have got a very sophisticated technology, but volumes are less. In that case, you should not, you need not explore a manufacturing facility. Wherever you have the manufacturing facility, that you can have that as a base, and you should have a local partner who can take care of your interests and explore marketing opportunities. Third, if the technology is somewhat low, but volumes in potential is very high, it's very, very important for you. Very quickly, you should establish the manufacturing base in India. because the price is going to be the fundamental driver of this activity. So you need to have a very strong manufacturing base, then only you have stand a chance in the Indian market. So this is at a very, very macro level, I would like to position what can be the opportunities from India and what approach and strategy you can have. Having said this, yes, India is a great opportunity, and of course, it always comes with some challenges. I mean, India is extremely price sensitive, and one has to really take care of every item will be negotiated, and so you need to take care of what's the relative price within the market. So you need to position yourself very carefully. Second, it's very important to have an excellent reach within India. India is also a very large country, and within India also has different cultures. So it's very important for you, if you're looking for India as a potential destination, is to have a local contact to take care of your local interests, and you'll be able to reach out for you. So thank you, friends. These are some of the points which I wanted to say. And we believe the potential is very large. And if you're a green tech company at a unique green product, and India can be the potential destination. Thank you very much. Thanks for your patient listening. Thank you.